Hello and welcome to another episode of Not Another Podcast, proudly brought to you by Picklebet, who are Australia's first esports betting website, who do have fantastic odds on esports, which I hear at the moment is set to boom. But if you are going to have a punt, do remember to gamble responsibly. Gentlemen, we're back with another episode. I'm not going to go as far as to call these dire circumstances, but we're living in some times.
It's a dark timeline.
It is.
We're social distancing right here.
Thank fuck Sean's not with us. Let's be real.
No, he's still alive.
Wouldn't be able to have this space.
For those playing at home, he's still alive. He's just not on the couch.
Yeah, I mean, we're not north here.
No.
We don't send our fallen off into the lake to be burned, or anything like that. No, we're much more upbeat than that. But obviously, let's get it out of the way. Obviously, everyone may have heard about this virus going around that has affected everything.
Just say what you want to say.
That has affected everything, and obviously it's going to affect a lot of the topics of conversation, because it's pretty safe to say that anything in the LAN realm has been cancelled.
Yeah, it's a crisis.
It's a Landemic.
It's a Landemic.
The full Landemic.
So we've termed it the Landemic. Everything is being cancelled. I started this week by putting together some articles on obviously events that are happening and whatnot. I post those to Discord, and honestly, everything that I could find that was just coming to me day after day, it was like Overwatch, home and away games are being cancelled. LCS is being cancelled. Next thing you know, everything is cancelled.
ANZ is online only.
ANZ is online. Everything has just been systematically cancelled, obviously due to the nature of mass gatherings and trying to keep as many people apart as possible.
Save a buck as well,
It is, and I think that's the theme that certainly I've taken with, is the fact that it's not all bad news.
Yeah.
TOs are going to be able to make their dollar stretch further as well, which means that there might be more online seasons for things, or at least different initiatives. Obviously, we know in certain calendars that online events haven't necessarily been smiled upon because of packed calendars. But here's an opportunity to try some different things.
Well, that's right. And the other thing is also obviously the employment of people, the freelancers in esports, stuff like that. So tough times ahead. But those that are particularly involved in the event, the live event, are suffering. But it's not just an esports problem. That's TV. That's like
that's just a normal freelancer problem that people are going to have when you're not at the top. It's just how it works.
Well, I mean, you only need to look at sporting leagues around the world. Yeah, and people who know that they've got a job locked in for the entire length of this Premier League season or AFL season or NRL season or whatever it is. Obviously, the latter two are still going ahead, but there's still uncertainty around it. But they've got work locked in for the majority of their year, and all of a sudden it's like, guys, hold that.
Well, the question I have is, are they going to unlock these online games?
Unlock in what way?
Allow anyone to cast them.
I doubt it. It depends on what, right?
Well, I mean, they don't own the rights to the game, so I don't know how they prevent it in the first place.
Well, an example would be, I know ANZ would, if we had a professional broadcast in place, there wouldn't be Open Go TV for people to look at. But say, I don't know, maybe some of the bigger ones will, or like secondary streams might do that. I don't know much about what ESL's policy is with the whole thing. But maybe like OPL now, they're moving to online. And as you've seen, they allowed, I've forgotten his name.
Jubes?
Jubes. Yeah, Jubes to do the co-streaming. Yeah. And that's happened for the last 2 weeks, I think, which was pretty interesting to watch. He'd just meme around and pretend he was part of the broadcast. But if there's more co-streaming options, I'd be open to doing stuff like that as well.
Like the NBL did that, obviously, with Twitch here in Australia.
Yeah, I just think we're not locking it down to certain talent that are getting paid a lot of money to do things. Then everyone's at home. Everyone's literally at home. Yeah. Give them something to do. If they want to cast, let them cast. Might be some future talent there.
Well, I think the funniest thing I saw was obviously the fact that Premier League soccer's been canned.
Yeah.
And people are literally going about and playing fixtures on Twitch and just letting the AI play each other. And there was one that I saw, no word of a lie, that had like 4,500 viewers for a fixture that was supposed to go ahead.
Yeah.
And it was literally just the AI versus each other on FIFA 20.
Huh. I mean, that's proper FIFA.
Yeah.
Like, it might as well be as rigged as the normal one. So,
yeah, well, there's no more corrupt body in the world than FIFA, right?
yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a few people in esports that attest that. Give it a run for the money.
That's not corrupt, though. That's just...
They just don't have the power yet.
Yeah.
They just don't have the power yet.
Anyway.
But obviously there's a lot that has happened. There's been a few good pivots, and we'll probably get into those a little bit later. But I feel like this is just a necessary evil to talk about. Maybe like the worst news at the start, get that out of the way, and things like that. Obviously, we were talking about how the number of live events are drying up, and that's not just isolated to events per se. We're talking activations and things like that. We're talking about positive steps being made forward. We know, previously Ground Zero, Pentanet, and Chiefs have been doing activations in shopping centres and really engaging their local communities. But it looks like even those, are starting to pull up stumps. Some of them even before the time has been called on them by government bodies. We know that obviously there was some circumstances around the Chiefs activation at QV, which was unfortunate, which saw some equipment actually stolen prior to the event finishing. Which it was only 1 day early, but still to have...
They went for 9
days. It was 2 days. It was 2 days early. So there would have been the Saturday and Sunday, but apparently it happened on that Friday night. So,
but I mean, 3 weeks is a pretty good stint anyway. Like,
yeah. Well,
they've been there a long time.
I don't know if I'd trust my equipment to be out in the wilderness
for 3 weeks. It gives people a lot of time to scope it out,
And that's exactly what happened. It was our understanding that Chiefs, they had some gaming equipment there, some PCs, some PlayStations, the usual stuff, some AV equipment and things like that. And it was the easy targeted items, the PCs and the PlayStations and controllers and things like that got stolen, which is super unfortunate. But, obviously you take a look at circumstances like that and go, well, it's detrimental in the sense that, like, obviously some of the PCs and the PlayStations, we know that some of those items were personally owned by people as well.
Yeah.
It's not just, company stock being taken, it's personal stock.
It's unavoidable, though, to be honest. I mean, unless you personally pay for security 24/7.
Well, I was under the impression that they should have had security and would have had security on, but they just weren't present for the hour that there was a window where people... Basically, my understanding is there was an hour window where stuff was taken out bit by bit.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Quite a lot of stuff as well.
Yeah, quite a lot of stuff, I think it was about at least 3 PCs and PlayStations and Xboxes and things like that. So, to come back and forth that many times, the security patrols were either very brief, not taking notice, or weren't there at all.
Questionable, yeah.
So what are you paying for?
Oh, precisely. But that is a danger of these activations, right? Like, it
is.
The fact that...
I mean, it used to be the danger of just having a net cafe back in the day. You know what I mean? So whenever you're going to have any sort of technology around like this, it is expensive stuff. And so you've just got to kind of keep an ear to the ground, really.
Well, we were talking about it too. We don't think this trend's going to go away.
No.
Not in some of the times that we're obviously going to face in terms of...
It's only going to get worse right now.
Yeah, precisely. And I think insurance and looking at means of making sure your equipment's secure, particularly now that obviously we've seen a lot of news about workforces being laid off and people in need of income, or there's desperate times for a lot of people on the horizon. So
people who may be
easy targets,
dependent on something that costs a lot of money.
Yeah,
they're going to get desperate.
Alternatively, right, if you think about it, what's an easy item to sell and is quite anonymous? A PlayStation.
Yeah, exactly.
You're trying to track down a PlayStation that's been taken?
Maybe on like the PSN network or something. I don't know.
Good luck.
Yeah. Not in place.
Yeah, I've got no idea.
Sony didn't think about that. You know, we're going to have a bunch of PlayStations stolen. Oh, you know what? Let's put GPS in it. Yeah, but then you got everyone, all the consumers, if they got told that GPS was in their PlayStation, they'd blow up and go, the government's tracking us, So...
I've seen enough of that on Reddit.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of paranoia about a lot of people having to work from home right now and being
Yeah.
tracked.
Yeah. Oh no, that's not really paranoia. That's legitimate. But like,
Speaking of working from home,
just conspiracy
you
theories.
know, CS:GO, it's hit 1 million concurrent players. You know, there's probably a reason there.
Well, I worked from home the whole time. I was in, a CS team.
Yeah, look, I'm going to go out and say that, esports people in particular are very well positioned to work from home.
It's the only way you can really do it.
However, obviously, there's a lot of volatility around some of the work that's available at the moment too.
I think with NBN and everything like that, even though it's going to really struggle with everyone working from home, hopefully the infrastructure is able to keep up with it. But
Hopefully.
then we're in a place now where we can actually do this quite well. Like even we can have our own production studio here in our house. Like,
yeah.
So it's really a good opportunity for anyone who wants to enter the space as well and normally doesn't have the time because they're commuting or something like that.
Well, this is it, right? This is the time. If you do have some things that you've shelved because you've said I'm too busy at work or whatever it is, this is the time to do it. Like, there's a lot of...
You want to make content. You want to do anything. Yeah, absolutely. Good opportunity out there. So
Get back on the grind.
don't look a gift cock in the beak.
What?
He's
What?
he's gone for the Witcher reference.
Yeah, come on. The Witcher? When you're quarantined, mate, you got to watch something. So I watched The Witcher.
Oh, okay.
And there's a dwarf in there who says, I'm not one to look a gift cock in the beak instead of a gift horse in the mouth. So I just thought I'd go with that.
Okay.
Obviously, you're not familiar.
Do you know
No.
where that saying comes from? So basically,
Didn't I teach you this?
no, it's a pretty common
Oh,
saying.
okay, everyone knows it. All right, go for it, Jim.
But essentially, I don't think a lot of people know exactly what the nature of the metaphor is. But essentially,
Mansplain it.
yeah, I'm going to mansplain it for you. All right. Essentially, if you receive a horse, which was given as a gift back in the day,
Yep.
you generally don't try and look it over, and a way of telling how old a horse is by
Right.
looking at the length of the teeth.
Yeah.
The longer the teeth, the older the horse, and people would assess their gift and look it in the mouth and judge it on its value. But
If it's a gift,
You should
you're
just
not
take it.
supposed to look at its value. You accept it, and
Yeah, you just take
you
it
move
back.
on.
You take it back to the store and get the store credit.
yeah, with the receipt that comes with the horse.
that's it. ACCC
Yeah,
covering gift horses now.
yeah, that's... yeah. But do you know why you don't look a gift
Cock.
Or a gifted horse.
in the beak?
Why?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. What's so good about the beak on a rooster?
What was it
Well,
as
does
a
the length
response
of
to?
the beak?
Does the length of the beak correspond with anything?
It's not the size that matters. That's all I've been telling you
Is
for
it-
the last couple of days.
I feel like it would be. Like, how do you tell the age of a
How
chicken?
sharp the beak is. Like, you know?
Well, you
I
don't
know,
get sharper as you get
depends
older.
if it's like a fighting cock or if it's a breeding cock. You know what I mean?
We just refer to it as a rooster, right?
I thought cocks were meant for breeding.
Yeah, look, the gift that keeps on giving by the sound of it.
Max just lost with this. He's like, I'm out.
I've
He's
got,
out,
let's
he's
go. So Max mailbag. All right, cool. Let's go.
Quick episode tonight.
Yeah,
boys.
everything's been cancelled, guys. So unfortunately, we're out of content. But no, we've got plenty of content to talk about. Obviously, just to round that one out, unfortunate circumstances around Chiefs and their activation, doing some good things. Obviously, in the coming months, it's going to be difficult for those activations to exist. So, there's a lot of groups out there
Resounding
that'll be
success,
looking.
though.
Yeah, resounding success. For 3 weeks, you sit in one of the busiest shopping centres in Australia.
They got diabolical keys, which was cool to see as well. You know, I pwned a couple of noobs online.
What do you think of it?
Well, there was even...
I enjoyed it.
You don't have a Quake history?
No, but I was feeling pretty sharp. You know, I was playing whatever that railgun game is, the
Instagib.
Instagib. Oh, good fun.
Yeah.
Really good fun.
Gib or jib?
Instagib?
Please.
I can't.
Take your GIF out.
Well, there was even players playing ANZ fixtures from that QV activation.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
anyway.
Iron played it from QV.
Did Iron play some of his games from
Yeah.
that? Oh, no way.
Which is hilarious. But,
Oh, well, hats off to them anyway. It was a good job, a good idea, a good activation. Need to see more of it.
yeah, correct.
I like they had the athletes up on the banners.
Yeah.
You know, try and
Like-
raise the
like
profile.
Nick?
Yeah.
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 Like Sav.
Yeah.
Real esports athletes out
Yeah.
there giving it a crack.
Yep. I think that's good.
Yep. But obviously, as we said, resounding success. We'd like to see more of it. Hopefully, circumstances later on do allow for that. Some of the other news as well was obviously we saw, and we're going to keep the theme of Melbourne, was that Fortress finally opened its doors.
Finally.
We saw that there was a Rainbow Six party that gave a bit of a sneak peek to it.
Yep.
Then
closed its
and then it closed its doors. Obviously, some circumstances there outside their control. They made a call pretty early on as well.
Well, I mean, gaming is one of those hands-on kind of things. So,
Right. So, like, even in the environment where they've got shared controllers and things that you can hire, and obviously
danger zone,
making sure exactly that you can keep those things clean is a very difficult thing to do. And then, by all accounts, locking people in a basement sort of arrangement is not ideal in the current climate.
No.
So
it was quite hot today.
I know in the initial stages of Fortress opening 2, and this is something that I wanted to touch on, and I probably
20% of it.
Come on, I'm not that ambitious.
We're going to touch the whole
touch
thing?
on 20%.
Okay.
Come on, mate. At least my talents don't. Well, I'm not going.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know where you're going, but you need to stop.
Look, let's just say that if you're touching 20% of the market or claiming to, that your ambition far outweighs your talent.
What's that number? What does that even mean? What's 20%? What's 100%? What's the number?
Exactly. What is the number? But
are you having technical?
What I'm saying, no. What I'm saying is that there was some confusion over the pricing of some of what Fortress was offering.
Trying to bring up the old
the pricing list. I've seen a few of them in action.
But
they had a membership.
It was a wee bit expensive.
I think it was like $12
a week,
$50 a week, or something in those lines.
Right.
And then you had to have it for a minimum of X amount of months.
So like a gym.
3 months.
3 months. Yeah, the minimum time for a.
Do you want me to do it? I don't even have a website, so it's.
Mate, you go for it. You wanted to.
No. I mean, it's up to you. But anyway, look, it was pretty exuberant, but they got to recover their costs somehow from opening up such a huge thing, the largest one in the Southern Hemisphere.
I would have relied on the beer personally.
I actually thought their food and beverage.
Beer. I want cheap beer.
Yeah, I would have thought their food and beverage offering would have been enough to.
I mean, not that I drink.
You can just sell a lot of cheap beer.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Have a lot of parties. There was a lot of events, which.
But I didn't see anyone coming online. Here's what I didn't see. I didn't see anyone going on Twitter and anything like that, which is like how we spread esports.
Yeah.
And saying, well, Fortress was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see anyone going, this event space looks really cool. I'll definitely be back. It was just like, yeah, I went. I'm popular.
It was I'm there. I bought some more merch that they offered.
Yeah.
Just after they opened.
Mm-hmm.
So it would just be interesting to see. I mean, obviously tough times. Everything's on hold for them as they close down. So it'd be interesting to see how they bounce back once it comes back open.
I'm interested to see, as you're getting the price list up, we were talking about it before, but, FIFA, they do have the E-League as well, and the finals was supposed to be at Fortress.
Right.
In their studio.
When?
I can't remember the date, but I know it was very soon.
Okay.
Not too far away. But now that's not going to happen, so now Fortress isn't going to be able to showcase what they can do in that studio environment.
That wouldn't be able to happen. You just don't have an audience. You'll either have gatherings of under 100 people.
It's travel.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
If they have, I don't know where the players are from.
Have to travel, yeah.
But players might not be comfortable having to travel, etc.
You could still do the rest of their show. Like, just being realistic, you could still do their show, their production in Fortress, and just do the games online.
Yeah. You could also just do it where they currently are and are already set up.
Where's that?
Well,
ESL Studios.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hopefully they've got the right fit out for production in Fortress. I'm not too.
Apparently they do.
I've been told that it has been a little bit less than adequate.
It's hearsay.
But again,
we haven't seen it. The thing that I liked though with that esports arena setup is that stage is retractable. Not the stage, the
seating.
Seating's retractable. So you can retract that and then just turn it into a flat floor for whatever else you want to run, another land,
like
etc.
judo mat or something.
Yeah, have some fucking judo. Why not? Bring some chicken. Bring some toilet paper. Ooh, there's the prize.
It's the same sort of stadium setting that they use for like school gymnasiums, where it's literally it sits inside a wall.
Yeah,
and it's like rack, and you essentially just pull it out as you need it.
Yeah.
put it away, and then that space is taken up by PCs during the time. Obviously, people. But yeah, here's the pricing list. So they have some different pricing tiers based on membership.
I wonder if that's going to continue on through the shutdown as well.
Well, I think I'd
call now and put your gym memberships on hold.
Put them on hold,
just like Mac did.
Oh, let's not get into it. You know, it's the same. The memberships here, look, they're about as same as what I would be paying at any time.
Yeah.
And look, I paid up front for a whole year, so I was worried I couldn't put it on hold.
Samesies.
But
you can.
It turns out you can.
Yeah. So in all honesty, these for me are a little bit weird in terms of their pricing.
What's weird about them, Jim?
So read them out first.
The first one is the Fortress Fanatic, $60 a year.
Yep.
Included in that, you get a lanyard, a T-shirt, access to a private Discord channel, access to the member portal, access to exclusive content, access to member-only events, and 2-hour PC Game Pass. That's $60 a year. That's a very cheap option.
And you get one 2-hour pass.
1 2-hour pass.
But you get exclusive content.
But you get a lanyard and a T-shirt and an invite to a Discord.
That's cool. But I want to know what the content is and who's making the content. What's it about?
They haven't announced any member-only events. So it's sort of like you're blindly throwing your faith into the fact that there's good member-only events available.
Yeah.
That are worthwhile travelling to.
I want a bit more info on that one. Anyway, move on.
Maybe it's shared in a private Discord. The member portal is also an option too. But like, I don't know. I feel like member portals never really hold much information. At least in the member portals I've been a part of in the past. But
I didn't play much Portal.
So there's a power user.
Don't have a member.
Which is a weekly option, which is kind of weird because I don't know if this is a mistake or whatnot, but essentially there's a power user, which is $12 a week for a minimum of 3-month term. So you're just locked into that.
Yeah.
You get all the Fortress Fanatic benefits, so everything listed previously, the shirts, the lanyard, blah, 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 blah. You get a LAN station for $5 hourly rate. So that's on top of your $12 a week.
Yeah.
Access to the in-venue leaderboard, which I assume is some sort of competition based on which games you're playing. I know that there was some reviews that I saw online of people accessing the games, but they weren't able to install their own games on the PCs. You just had to play what was offered there.
Right.
Collectible membership pin, membership card and lanyard, 15% discount on that merchandise that we all love.
Love pins.
That's true. They're very collectible. People literally dedicate their entire packs to collecting pins, which is quite cool. But early access to the Fortress merchandise, so they got more merchandise on the cards. Free T-shirt, cap, beanie after 6 months of continuous membership. So you get another set of T-shirts.
Free merch?
And beanie, yeah. More free merch. Free Fortress hoodie after 1 year of continuous membership. So basically you have to spend $12 a week for 52 weeks to get that hoodie.
Yeah.
If that's your goal. Early bird information, offers on Fortress, offers priority queuing at events. That's right, you get your own
queue. You're in the VIP queue.
Yeah. Still get the queue though. Priority queuing at events is hotly sought after. 10% discount on Fortress Academy classes. An Academy class? Does anyone know of any heads of Academy?
No.
Fortress? No? Okay.
I can think of one or two that might want to do it for them.
Potentially. Well, that's probably why they were like. I saw that they had a community call out. They were putting together like a black book of
nerds,
people, influencers, content creators, and things like that to maybe source for these sorts of events. A tavern meal on your birthday. That's actually not too bad.
Still pay $12.
Still pay $12 a week for it.
How much is the meal?
I don't know. I don't know what I don't have a menu price, unfortunately, just yet.
I'll
scroll to that in a second.
Go get your free meal from your local sports club on your birthday.
Well, here's the thing, right? We have local sports clubs here in New South Wales. Mm-hmm. $9 a year membership.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a little bit of a different revenue model there, but
can't remember
they
what
don't
I
have
paid
pokies
for
in Fortress.
Strategy was like $12 for 3 years. or something like that.
Right,
For 5 years.
I know, like Bankstown Sports Club is $9 a year.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's multi-year discounts, but that's like the very base level. If you just want to pay year on year, it's $9 a year.
I feel like there's some thing about that. I feel like the membership is just like a thing. Like, you know what I mean?
It helps them actually get around a lot of like laws.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
That's why it's like it's so cheap.
You charge a membership
because you're just like,
well, in Queensland, for example,
to
bowls
serve
club
alcohol
memberships,
here.
is like they literally will have dollar lifetime memberships, but it's a membership base, so therefore it's a club.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And clubs have different
like
rules,
laws,
regulations.
Okay.
Whereas if it was just a venue, it's different. So they answer to a different set of laws as well. But it also means that like clubs, for example, have to be non-profit.
So Jim,
in nature,
all this stuff here,
all their money has to go back into the community. So that's why I spend so much money on upgrading shit. So they always look like a freaking casino inside.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Because they can't be profitable.
It's great for the community.
It is.
Now, this one here though, what about if you're not a member?
Well, you don't get any of this, right? And you keep
so
your money.
You have to be a member.
Yeah.
No.
So there's
like, do you buy hours?
let
get
me
a land
let me
station, stream
finish
station?
the last part.
You get anything like? Are we gonna do this?
All right. So let me just finish it.
Is there anything?
The monthly membership, there's monthly membership specials, access to the membership loyalty system,
of course,
of which is not outlined. Foundational offer: the hourly rate for a standard LAN usage is reduced to $4.50 over the lifetime of the membership. Cool. So it means if you're one of the first to take up this membership, you get a lower price. If you come in at a certain point later, you'll just get the standard $5 per hour. And this is where I think there's an issue or a mistake in this list that I've got. But there's also another pass, which is the same price, $12 a week for a minimum 3-month term. And you get all the Fortress Fnatic benefits again. You get game booth special access, which means I do believe you still have to pay for that. So if you're booking a booth, it's still like where you get a TV and some games and things like that. That's an hourly rate or something like that.
Yeah.
You get 1 4-hour pod pass. Now, I believe these pods are like streamer pods. So you can stream from them with all the equipment already there provided.
Mm-hmm.
And otherwise, it's an $11 hourly rate for the pod. Free access to the board game library, which I believe is in the tavern. Access to the in-venue leaderboard, collectible membership pin, lanyard, 15% discount on merchandise, early access to Fortress merchandise, blah, blah, blah. Same benefits after 6 months of the year in terms of merchandise, early bird info and offers on Fortress events. Again, that priority queuing, which is banger. Free entry to selected weeknight social events.
Yeah.
So they charge entry to weeknight social events.
Yeah.
Which means it's got to be a benefit to having free entry, right? 10% discount to Fortress events. 10% discount to Fortress Academy events. Again, a tavern meal on your birthday, monthly membership specials, access to the membership loyalty program. And again, if you take up the foundational offer, you receive a free access to VIP booths in the off-peak periods for lifetime of the membership.
Oh, why wouldn't you get that one?
The Adventurer.
Yeah.
Well, that's the winner. Now, just to give you an overview of the service pricing, casual PC gaming, 2-hour PC booking, $26. So that's $13 an hour or $19 concession rate. Obviously, this changes if you have membership as well. 4 hours is $38, 8 hours, which includes unlimited post-mix plus 1 loaded fries. Oof. If you think about that, unlimited post-mix, that's
good.
Is it?
Well, it's actually really cheap.
Yes.
It's really cheap for them to make. But again, it's actually...
It's like Hoyt's.
It's like the, what was it, Pizza Hut? Or no, it's like Hungry Jack's. You know, you get free unlimited soft drinks when you're eating there. Same thing.
But it's like if you're there gaming for 4 or 5 hours and you know you got unlimited post mix.
You're going ham. You're mixing Fanta and you're mixing Coke, right? Like you're just throwing it all in there, mashing it together.
What do you call that? Do you have a name for that?
No. Oh. Orange Coke. Even though it's not orange.
All right.
Oh, what are you doing?
What was that?
It was not me. I can't touch anything.
A little bit of something. Anyway.
Please don't do that again, Ian.
Yep. Yeah, well, no, honestly, it wasn't me. There's nothing I could have done.
We'll find out what it is.
Guys.
Either way, thank you, Ian.
I'm not the troublemaker.
We're not having any tech issues, by the way. Just podcast. Keep that in mind.
I'm trying to
anyway, as I was saying, and then there's power user pricing, which is the $5.50, $4.50 stuff. Streamer pod hire, 2 hours is $41. If you remember, it's $30. And for 4 hours, it's $59. If you remember, it's $44. 8 hours, again, if you're going to have like an 8-hour stream there, it's $120 plus your post mix and loaded fries, unlimited post mix, and $90 if you remember. So Tavern VIP booth booking, which is the one that has like the Switch in it and things like that. Controller rental plus free access to in-booth gaming equipment. 2 hours is $27. Basically, there's a heap of stuff there. In all honesty, it's not as cheap as people seem to think it is. But as you were saying, it's got to recoup costs somehow. Now, board game hire is $10 per hour per game.
Yeah.
Which I actually don't think is that bad.
They're making a monopoly on Monopoly. That's all I'm saying.
You're not making it yourself. You're not playing it yourself, rather, you know?
You bring in a couple of friends. It's a couple of dollars each. You might rent it for 3 or 4 hours. Yeah. To be honest, if you play that game, it depends on the game, to be honest.
Yeah.
But, you know, you could just get a few friends and buy the game. If you hate it after 3 hours, you still spent the same amount of money.
Free.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, wear and tear on things like that in games and stuff, they get wrecked.
That's the hardest thing about running one of these places is keeping everything fresh.
Yeah, correct. Like, that was always the biggest challenge for net cafes, right? Was PCs. Obviously, it's a bit different too because I believe they've got a service agreement with Alienware.
Yeah.
So like, if something goes wrong, it's literally like just call up Alienware, they'll service it, they'll get a new one in, or they'll fix it.
But there's no service agreement with bloody Hasbro for your Monopoly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Milton Bradley, get Milton Bradley on the line.
Or your Switch controller that gets smashed because someone's playing FIFA and it's the most trash game ever, and etc. And they break the controller. I've not done that.
I feel like if you saw anyone like not treating the equipment with respect, they're just gonna get kicked out anyway.
You got to call it out.
Yeah.
All right. You got to call it out. When you see someone not behaving right, you got to call it out.
Yeah.
That is correct. It's a responsibility, isn't it?
I did that the other day. Actually,
where is it?
Tell me more about that, Mac. While Jim does something
at the gym. Right, someone was doing something with the curved bar.
Yep.
And they didn't have the clamps on the side of the weight.
Yep.
So there was like 5 kilos on either side. It wasn't like too much, and I think he was just doing upright pulls. But then he went to put it down, and as he spun around, one of the weights fell off, and then it obviously did the fucking uncoordinated like fall off one side, fall off the other side, and one rolled like past my foot, and I didn't want it to hit me, right? You know, so
are you very calm about it though, man?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to see what he did. He didn't say anything. He just like put the weight. He put the bar down, put the weights back on, and then just didn't put the clamps on. And I was like, well, he's fucked up once. He could fuck up again. And I go, oi, mate. And he's like, oh, what's up? And I'm like, put the fucking clamps on. You know, if you're doing that again, a 5 kilo weight comes off and hits me in the fucking ankle, I'm going to be very angry. And it's all about safety. So he's like, oh yeah, sorry. And then just like fixed it and picked it up.
You were a lot calmer though when you explained it.
No.
You didn't have to clamp down.
I was fucking hyped up. I'm at the gym. And I was fucking in a mood.
He'd taken his pre-workout.
I take my pre-workout. So I was there, and if someone's fucking dropping weights on my foot, I'm going to...
Not even once. Okay.
His cells were rapidly expanding.
I said it in the most polite way I could while I was between sets and almost had a 5 kilo weight dropped on my toe, because I know what that feels like, and it is painful.
Yeah.
And I don't want to live through it again from someone not fucking following the rules.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. The tweet that I was actually going to reference, which was a little bit of dissatisfaction amongst what Fortress had actually offered, was deleted. So I just basically the FGC. There were some guys there that played Smash and things like that. It's not catered towards the FGC guys. So, like, for example, coming in, they can only play what's there. They can't alter the setups or anything like that. They were a little bit upset about that.
That's a bit shit.
Obviously, it depends on what your esports focus is.
But if you're catering for esports and then you have all these... If you have all these consoles and everything, and, you know, FGC is big on console.
Yeah.
Not cater for it seems like a bit of a miss, really.
Yeah, well, I
oversight.
Think,
a bit of oversight. But anyway,
think they, you know, for example, if you have to play on the account that they give you as well, like particularly with DLC characters and things like that.
Yeah.
If you've paid for all these characters and then
I don't know,
you can't play them, and that's your specialty, you're going there to lab against some of the guys that have brought down.
If it's a DLC player that you have to pay for to play, and they've specialized in that person. Yeah, that's a bit shit that they can't do that. But if it's just something else like that, I hope they're not being too pedantic.
No, well, look, I think it's a little bit disappointing, obviously, to rock up to this venue and not have what you thought would be on offer.
When just like...
particularly, right, because it's a little bit different to the typical service that you're used to going to with your regular net cafe that you might have gone to previously, or you had to been to one in the past. You know, for example, Counter-Strike players have got it good at net cafes in most instances because they have all the PCs unlocked, they can plug some stuff in. There's huge complaints at ones that they can't do that sort of stuff. I know in Brisbane we had it good because we had special modes on the PC.
When you get in tight with the owner and then the owner likes it.
He trusts everyone.
Yeah. He knows CS is a 5v5 game, so you're going to bring in more business than a WoW player.
Yeah, precisely. But also, too, it's like in your rule book, you state that if people don't plug in the default equipment that's there, when they leave, they lose points or lose money or something like that. Yeah. They tend to, help scratch your back a little bit. But obviously, there's a little bit of trust that needs to be built between Fortress as an operator and the community in some instances. But they've got their systems in place for a reason. So, it's more along longevity of keeping those PCs in top spec because things happen, right? Like USB ports get ruined. They can't necessarily be replaced. I know a lot of options now have like USB ports that are on the desk rather than on the PC because on the PC it's difficult. You need to replace the whole case to get the USB port, whereas if you've got them as individual modules on the desk, one gets ruined, one gets coke poured in it, or whatever it is from that unlimited
post-mix. You just have to replace the component rather
it's a component replacement. So, look, unfortunately, as we said, they opened and then made the call later on to close their doors, right? Like, obviously, it's a health concern, not just for
it's a lot easier to do that.
The staff that they have duty of care over as well. Yeah. Which is unfortunate, but that's the sign of the times that we're likely to be encountering. And I'd be interested to see what happens to those guys over the next couple of months because they're an entertainment venue. They require people through the doors. I don't know if they're going to, be lucky enough to get that reprieve on rent or things like that. It depends. So it's unfortunate to see it open and then close because obviously, we don't get to find out what these member offers actually mean for some people.
Gives them more time to plan things, to be honest.
Potentially, yeah.
Maybe. Well, hopefully it works out because I'd hate to see something with huge potential like that open and then close the doors. And if coronavirus lasts for too long, they might just have to fully shut up shop. And that's a whole lot of wasted money that could have gone to anywhere for the esports community that might just not see the light of day. That's a theoretical, obviously. But we'll see how
usually
it goes
what happens is someone
there.
comes along and they say we want to do this, or someone pitches it to someone and they're only interested in that kind of space anyway. So
yeah. Oh well. The thing that I actually wanted to bring up from earlier before
you're looking to me to like change the subject or like go next. I'm just sipping.
Anyway, I'll change the fucking subject. Let's go. All right, so we were talking about the live events and they're all being cancelled and stuff, and people not wanting to take the risk to see if it works. The thing is, the risk was Cato. That is the perfect example, They took the risk. They were going to do it a couple of days before. Oh, sorry, you guys aren't going to be able to come and watch the event.
Oh, they didn't take the risk. Everyone was there. Like they just said.
Yeah, but all the tourists were there as well.
Yeah, but they were just like, we're going to run this in-house, no crowd.
Yeah.
Right? But now you can't run it in-house because you can't get the people there.
You don't even have the option.
But it's the same in like local productions. You're not supposed to have that many people there.
Well, now it's like non-essential gatherings of like 100 people.
Yeah. That's indoors?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about outdoors? Do you know?
500.
Outdoors still 500.
But it's like non-essential, right? Like they don't deem that to be like a LAN competition.
Yeah.
In their eyes, is like just not essential.
Yeah.
Like, why are you doing this? So it's very difficult to convince them that this needs to go ahead. I will give a quick shout out, obviously, to our fantastic sponsors in Picklebet, who have been with us since the start, and they are Australia's first esports betting website.
Picklebet.
And do remember, if you are going to check them out and have a punt, do gamble responsibly. Do that. Do take care of yourself in these trying times as well.
What are you going to punt on? There's nothing on.
Well, there's esports on, mate.
Yeah.
There's esports on.
There's only esports.
There's only esports, exactly. You want to try and punt on Premier League? It's not even on, mate.
It's not even on. Can't
Forget
be on.
about it.
No. What about Formula One?
Gone.
Not even on.
Did you see that they a couple of blokes got in some golf carts and tried to just do the F1 anyway?
I saw a heap of golf carts on the course. It was a brown cardigan.
Yeah, that's where I saw it on Brent Cardigan. Great little page.
Yep, definitely. But I guess that would naturally pivot us to the nature of what's happening with a lot of these events. A lot of these things are going online. I will quickly, before we skip over it too much, the third title was announced for ESL ANZ.
Yep.
Which was another Blizzard title. Warcraft 3 remastered. They're throwing it back.
Boom.
2 RTSs.
Yeah, actually, it's a weird timeline, right? StarCraft and Warcraft 3, coexisting.
Yeah. Mm. Is it Warcraft 3 or is it Reforged?
Reforged.
So is it 3 Reforged or Warcraft Reforged? You know, because it's not Warcraft.
Reforged?
Treeforged.
Treeforged.
Who the fuck?
It's the Irish.
Nearly did it.
Irish version. Ian, it's the Irish version.
Yes, the Irish.
Treeforged.
We loved him.
Just want a caravan from a ma.
I'm trying to think of... It's like...
Say your breath for cool, you bought shit.
Yeah, I like your dog. I like your dog.
Anyway, we're just going to continue with the Snatch references. Mm-hmm. But obviously the OPL... we, in previous episodes, had mooted that there would be a season coming up where the OPL went online. We didn't predict these circumstances, but they have gone online.
Yep.
Players are no longer travelling to the studio in Sydney, in Piermont. But they still have a studio broadcast going in. It's just that if they're bringing in talent, like, for example, Jake Spawn in Melbourne, he's unable to attend, obviously not wanting to risk exposure due to travel. Yeah. And they don't want to place him in that sort of situation either. But, with their broadcast talent, they're making something work in the Sydney studio. So it's basically run online and the broadcast remains unchanged.
Okay, so it'll pretty much just be Nick, Skimmy and Rusty. And Skimmy's from NZ, right?
Yeah.
So will it even be Skimmy or is it just going to be Rusty and Nick Boy?
Well, he doesn't have to return home, does he?
I guess if he's over here staying, I don't know what the situation is, but a lot of people from NZ that I know fly over for talent. They just fly over, do the work, and then fly back, usually. I don't know what the situation is with Skimmy.
He has been named in this weekend's broadcast talent lineup.
Well, so maybe he's over here for like semi-permanent.
Yep. Yeah. If it's a weekly broadcast for a couple of weeks.
No one's closed their borders yet.
Yeah.
So,
I think they're just...
Between us and them.
Well, they're saying international travellers are no longer allowed from a certain point.
Yeah.
But...
New Zealand, come on, guys. You're hardly international.
It's pretty much open
just
borders.
Other island of Australia we let someone else manage.
Tasmania's completely closed their borders, mate.
Yeah.
Completely. Like, they're not letting anyone in or out.
They're just like, this better not infect our grapes.
No, exactly.
But Tasmania has?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tasmania. Basically said, we got to think about both of our heads and protect both of them.
Right, because Raven, who's from Tasmania, was here for R6 Pro League last night, and he's supposed to be flying back tonight, or not tonight, but probably tomorrow.
There's a certain time where that comes in.
It's
right.
9 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the international.
I think if you're from Tasmania, I think you can get back in.
Right.
Yeah, you can return.
If you're a citizen.
Leave.
Yeah. If you're a
citizen of Tasmania,
if you're not on the mainland,
mate, they've got great internet down there. I don't know what the complaint would be. You know, we're just far away from lands.
Gave some players a career and sourced that internet.
There was a whole team called Tasmania. Do you remember those guys?
If they were, they would have been crack hot online.
They literally were called Tasmania, was their team.
I don't remember that.
They were a bit of a meme team, to be honest. Sort of like your pub masters.
Wasn't interested in that stuff.
But they were a bit of a meme team.
Too busy winning. Everything.
Now, look, this isn't the first online pivot, obviously. We know that ESL Pro League has gone online, but that's not new territory for them. The first 8 seasons of ESL Pro League ran online. Season 9
this is where we started.
Exactly.
We were born in online, raised by it, molded by it.
Yeah.
We didn't see the land.
Yeah.
It's the return to the age of onliners.
So, yeah.
That's a perfectly normal wheeze, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Didn't pick up on it. Now I'm worried.
When the cough was in your mouth.
Thanks for that.
Anyway. So you just coughed in your mouth. You didn't actually.
There wasn't a cough. It was just a hearty laugh. Now, the best part of this, right, is obviously, as we were talking about earlier, some pennies being saved. Even as far as like talent, not having to fly them in and out each week. In some instances, we know that like land events, for example, are very costly for TOs to put on.
Yep.
So, allowing them to keep some money in their pockets, which can only be a good thing because their best interests are making esports events.
Yeah.
Was ANZ was going to be at LAN?
ANZ,
yeah, it was going to be a LAN in a couple of weeks. They were selling tickets up until yesterday when they made the call that it was just going to be too hard because they already have
so it would have been in the studio. Would have been a studio LAN.
Yeah, just like halfway through last year. Remember that one, season 8?
Yep.
That was when we got you on. You know, we swapped Kev out, swapped you in.
Yep. That was on my order.
No, well, Kev went in for Danny. You went in. You just walked up out of the crowd.
Yeah.
You replaced Brainstorm.
Yeah.
We picked anyone out of the crowd.
That was a good event. I liked that.
That was really fun.
Genuine came second, yeah?
Yeah. And, this season looks like they're going to get there maybe on the back of all their overtimes.
I'm hoping that, with a bit of the saved money, we might be able to talk production's ear into putting in some different bits and pieces, maybe some more content pieces.
Maybe some
because,
talent.
If, say if someone wins, right, there's still going to be a trophy. There's still going to be the trophy somewhere, you'd assume.
Yeah.
And I'd love to just, throw whoever's jersey on, run down and, accept it on their behalf. I feel like that's great content, better than no one accepting the trophy and it's sitting there just on its own.
I reckon just getting those, like, robotic arms to accept it. Like,
oh, yeah, because they're going to be at home. Yes.
Yeah, or just someone with gloves on.
Yes.
I feel like there's value in that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give away
Tom
all
Hanks.
my ideas for free. Vegemite all over the trophy. Just beautiful stuff. But obviously a big pivot to online. Not all of it's bad news in that sense. So
it'd only be bad news if the sponsor was, saying
an event partner.
Must be a LAN. Yeah, event partner.
In all honesty, though, let's be real. Let's look at the world as it is right now, and with a lot of sporting, like for example, the NRL right now are looking at ESPN and trying to broadcast the NRL into the US because the US has basically NBA's off. Their major sporting codes are off.
Yeah,
they're craving any sport. They don't care if it's with a hand egg, and a couple of Aussie teams are being played. They just want sport, right? So there's this void right now for content. And like the first thing that I'm going to go to is obviously one that I have some involvement in, which is the supercars sim racing. So they've suffered the same fate as all other events. They've indefinitely cancelled their events until June. They've got nothing on the calendar. They've got a full production team, just as any of these
whole production team.
A full production team, the full chicken.
Yeah.
But they're just sitting there.
Sorry, it's another.
It's a terrible joke.
It's a shopping joke. You had
Now,
to be there.
let's explain it because there's people on podcasts that would not know. People have this habit, all right, of explaining or like describing something whole and just calling it the full. It might be a Western Sydney thing. But it's like, do you want the whole chicken? I'm going to have a whole chicken or a half chicken?
That's the proper pronunciation.
Yeah, but they're like, do you want the full chicken?
Yeah, you want the full chicken?
Yeah, what you filling it up with?
Exactly. What's it full of?
Because it does have a hole inside it,
Well, yeah, like that's why we say full a lot and then laugh at it.
Yeah,
of course.
But essentially, they have production staff. They have entire media teams that are now sitting there going, "Well, we had a full event. It's been a long time." But essentially, they're now sitting around. And they're like, "We need content to produce." The solution for them is now they've just announced that they're running an All Stars E-Series, which last year they ran and they took some sim races and they put them in supercars teams and they raced. This time they're taking the real drivers, they're putting them in sim cars and then they're racing.
And then they're racing.
Turning the tables.
How the turntables.
Yeah.
But now that for me is just an awesome prospect because
for you it is.
Well, it's because it's now mainstream.
For supercars, I think it's a great idea.
It's mainstream media outlets turning to esports for content. obviously from like a Supercast perspective, they're broadcast exclusively on Fox. So they have a content commitment to Fox. And Fox right now, I saw Fox Sports News were laying off staff recently.
Just get him in
just
Fox
yesterday.
and then get me my VOD back.
Yeah, from the vault. You're still tracing the Crown VODs from like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But essentially, they are scrambling for content. And this is a chance for the drivers to essentially engage with new fans, existing fans, and show a side that's not necessarily super competitive. They don't necessarily have to go, because they're going to do it for quite a period of time. And all the details haven't been released yet. I know a lot of the details. I can't say them, unfortunately. But essentially, they're going to try some different things.
Sounds cool.
There's an option to try some different things. Things you can't do in the real world. For example, obviously, taking supercars and throwing them on tracks internationally that they would never travel to, that would never race. Trying some different formats and things like that. Obviously, not huge costs associated with it either, comparatively. You know, a race car is pretty expensive to run. Sim race car, not so.
Crash that bad boy, you just reset it.
Yeah, exactly. But then you don't have to turn up to the rest of the team and be like, oh, guys, you know that car you're working on for months on end? I kind of just put it into a fence.
Please, they would not be like that. They'd be like, the brakes were wrong, the camber was wrong, something was wrong.
They're not NASCAR drivers.
Oh, okay.
Where they just have to turn left.
Yeah.
They have souls.
It's feeling a bit tight.
But they're going to try different things, and they're going to try different content measures as well. And I think that's a really awesome prospect, because it's one of those esports worlds where like the skills are transferable, right? Like you know that these guys can obviously drive cars, and vice versa. There's been examples of sim racers who have gone on to drive cars, and some of them actually have driven cars. For example, there was a gentleman in the E-Series last season who went on to have a test day in a supercar, which was pretty cool.
That's cool.
So there's a lot of crossover there.
That's cool.
A lot of potential. Yeah. And this is only the beginning of these sort of realizations.
Well, on that same topic, you know, LPL, they are going to be on 7 May, 7 something.
I'm not staying up until 12 a.m. to watch that.
Oh, exactly.
That's nothing news.
Oh, no, you said a little bit about that on the social medias.
He threw some shade.
He threw a little bit.
That was a bit of shade.
It's like, okay, if you're going to make some noise about a deal, don't get me wrong. Right now, 7 Mate and 7 had the foresight that there would be a need for some content to be played in these time slots.
Yep.
They've gone and sourced it. It's probably free. They're not paying for their content. It's already pre-packaged. They would just go, all right, cool. Now we've got our 12 till 4 a.m. slot time covered. We've got content. The programmer just sits there and goes, cool, that's in. I don't have to worry about taking a live feed. We just pre-program it, set it overnight, and forget it.
Yep.
What I'm interested about...
Whether it rates or not, they don't care.
They've got Rainbow Six on TV, which has a whole bunch of guns.
It's not prime time.
It's not prime time, but still it's something.
It would have been an MA... Because they... In fact, I don't think certain times of the night have ratings. After midnight, I don't think they worry too much about ratings, MA and things like that. Yeah, but like they're generally adult ratings, right?
Yes.
So that's an example, you know, Hot Dogs from Big Brother was able to do some questionable game shows at like 3 a.m.
Yeah. Well, why has CSGO not followed that then and at least chased something to get on TV?
It depends who's getting in front of the people, right? So you got to remember LPL, pretty much almost entirely now owned by Sky New Zealand.
Yeah.
Right? So they're going to have a content sharing commitment with 7. Or at least in some instance. So they're going, well, cool, what have you got? What's hot? We need something to replace a Brady Bunch at 12. Yeah. And
who the fuck would do that?
Cracking show.
Well, let's
Great
be real.
show.
You've only seen it 8 times, right?
I just watch it for the intro.
Look, the point is, fantastic that it's on TV. It's not something to do a song and dance about because it's been done before. Realistically, you celebrate the prime time achievements where you get esports in prime time or in good slots where it's accessible to a lot of viewers and there's crossover and there's interest. I don't see there being interest with it being 12 a.m. I'm sorry, I don't.
It'll be a replay.
It'll be a replay.
Oh, of course.
It's not live content. We know that a lot of esports viewers, unless it's live content, there's not a lot of interest.
Yeah, because they know the result.
Exactly. Esports needs to be viewed live, or it needs to be other sort of content, shoulder content that they don't view live.
Who watches free to air TV anymore anyway?
Precisely. Yeah. But compare that to getting it into prime time. completely different story.
Yeah, if they got like a proper decent match live and prime time, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Like E-Series last year, for example, was 7:30 till 9:30 on Fox Sports PM. That's considered prime time.
Yep.
Where
How can shows like fucking Farmer Wants a Wife and shit be primetime shows?
because
People watch it.
unfortunately people watch them.
Well,
They
right.
rate.
And no one's shooting each other.
That says something about society, doesn't it?
Here's the other thing, right?
Yeah.
Despite the fact that they have digital set-top boxes and all those things, a lot of TV ratings are still estimated. In the age of
I thought
data-driven
like it has to
metrics-
be, right?
Yeah. They estimate metro numbers based on...
They're just like, this
certain
many
things.
households are watching it. Look, the average amount of people in a household, let's just say it's 4, maybe 5 these days, and then just
Quick
inflation.
math. Quick math. That's literally how they do it. And they just go, oh, yeah, we reckon there was about 110,000 in this area, 20,000 in that.
How do they get the more
Metro
rich
numbers.
stats, though? Because you know how people are asking for more rich statistics from Twitch, etc. So they know where they can market events, etc. Like, how do they do it on TV? Do they just take fucking occasional
Honestly, they
polls?
just...
It'd be pay-per-view stats or
Potentially
something like that.
pay-per-view stats. Or the other thing is, right, a lot of the brands coming in know that like there's the audience skews this way for certain programs. And it's actually the programs that they, use as the metric for who's watching it.
Yeah.
So if it's a family program, they're like, well, here's the
I
age
think with
range.
digital
here's the thing.
TV, they must be able to do something.
It depends, yeah. Like it's obviously there's a lot of data that here's the other thing as well, right? A lot of them have been sold on the fact that this data, the sets that you get from online viewing is so comprehensive because big data, right? It's not. In the instance of Twitch, for example, it's not. Facebook might be different. Facebook probably has more comprehensive stats on who's
absolutely.
watching it
Yeah.
than anything else.
Yeah.
YouTube, probably also the same. And it
Google.
definitely is the same.
Google.
So they're the two that are,
Sorry.
they get a lot of demographic data. Google know what you're doing
Right now.
after you've spoken about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so do Facebook. And
I'm just going to check what
Yeah,
ads pop up on Facebook right now.
so essentially, they're just guessing for a lot of TV stuff. And for a long time, TV's been the holy grail of viewership, right? So,
Get those boomers.
yep. Well, speaking of which, it's booming. Viewership is starting to boom. Obviously, we saw some news coming out of the ESL Pro League camp that was their most viewed weeks of Pro League, and it's literally just the group stages being played
After
out
announcing
online.
that there's no LAN, they used to play all the games on every stage game had to be on LAN.
Yeah.
And now they're all online and they're getting the best viewership ever.
Well, everyone's home to watch it, right?
Yeah.
That's the theory, but I actually think this is
Well,
this
everyone's
is a good
literally
thing.
home. Renegades are still at home too. Didn't go over.
That's sad.
Yep.
But I'm sure ESL will retain their spot. So,
Hope so.
no, they will.
They will.
It'd be pretty dog shit if they don't. Yeah.
I think it's a different pathway in next season from what I remember reading on one of the websites. They're going to have quals.
They're also
so-
one of
that
the
could
partnership
be-
founding teams, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So like they have a spot regardless, whereas there's a
Yeah.
certain amount of teams that clean house.
Yep.
Like they have to requalify.
I think
whereas
you'll
the founding
find
teams
also
don't.
anyone
Yeah.
who had a plan for the next 100 days has probably just gone and thrown it out the window.
Yeah.
And you'll have to make exceptions for this stuff.
100%.
Oh, speaking about EPL, this is going to be the first time we see Navi play online in over a year, I think it is. I think for the last year, they've only played LAN events.
Yeah, and they lost to North.
They got shreked by North.
Yeah.
And
Pretty much all the underdogs won, which is like, because it's online.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hopefully the LAN players can pull a finger out, because when you get to the end of the season and you're in the bottom group, then you can't. It's too late to complain.
it is.
Yep,
it
yep,
is.
yep.
But
You got to adapt. It's part of the game.
Well, that's exactly it. Like without LAN events, it's not that handy to be a good LAN team at the moment.
Yeah.
Like the best LAN team in the world.
Yeah, precisely.
It's also
so
being played. I wonder what are the ESEA servers okay overseas? Because I've heard a whole lot of stuff about it here.
you never end the conversation about how bad they are here.
Yeah. I think it's only bad here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's due to who they've chosen as their provider as well. Definitely.
Yeah.
But they haven't done anything about it.
Not
As far
for
as I
many
understand.
years, and it's been complained about. It's been directly given as well, as far as I've heard, to ESCA, and they're just whatever.
How much is ESCA a
Okay.
month?
Right now,
Can't remember.
$40.
Really?
The Australian dollar's that shit.
Oh, yeah. We're getting wrecked.
But it's not like it fluctuates because it's priced in US dollars, so it's not going to get any cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember it being very cheap.
No, I think it's about
12?
$10
I
US.
think it was 12.
I'm gonna check right
I think
now.
it was $12.99, but
I'm,
that might
I'm gonna
have
sign
been.
up
It's not
to
yet- no.
ESCA.
I think they changed because they died for a bit. Remember when ESCA just disappeared?
Yeah,
for
no,
a
it's
bit?
cheaper now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's about 10.
Right.
Market research says 10.
Continue.
They had
I'll
to be
find
more
the
competitive.
cost.
But yeah, look, where were we before you did your EPL being online? Yeah, look, sad days.
Just
but-
a lot of things being online.
Yep, underdogs are going to have a great season. I'll be interesting to see how the rankings are affected by online, because usually you'd only look at LAN events.
Or Premier LAN events.
Yeah, Premier LAN events.
Premier.
Yeah, so I think it might be like, look, guys, have at it for this season, but at the end of the season,
We'll resume normal transmission.
yeah, exactly. Like, it might not make too much of a difference.
Yeah. Anything, mate?
Subscribe to premium, but I need to log in. Oh, there you go.
It's not getting any cheaper with the Aussie dollar being.
It's $5.83 a month, and it's $12.50 a month for Insider.
And you need Insider to play the pro stuff?
And I don't know if that it's $5.83, so I assume that's in Australian dollars.
No.
No.
That'll be
No?
US.
That'll be
That'll
US?
be US, yeah.
Alright, and then you need premium to play MDL, etc.
Yeah. So basically, if you just want to pug,
Yeah,
it's about $10 a month at the moment.
Yeah.
And if you want to play competition level, you're looking at about anywhere between 15 to maybe even $20.
no, you don't need Insider to play the
MDL.
no.
No, you need
It's
the
just
premium for MDL. Insider's pointless, I think. isn't it?
Insider's
Well,
like
what's
you get
premium,
one
sorry?
free guest pass a month.
Don't
You
care
get
about that.
more alias changes.
Don't care about that.
You get more private message storage.
Don't care about that.
Reserve slot on Frag Shack servers.
You used to have access to like a private forum.
There was
Yeah,
something
the
good
private
about it
forum
back
and
in the
servers
day,
with top pros.
Yeah, the private forum was shit. And you'd get demos. That was the private access to the demos of comp games.
Okay. Which doesn't matter now because they're
Yeah.
all uploaded to the HLTV anyway.
Point being too, obviously a lot of these online leagues are sort of existing already, but man, it's time to pull up your socks. Yeah, it's time to offer something better. Let's be real. Like a lot of these online leagues right now is just taking money and run.
Yeah.
Particularly, we're talking Counter-Strike Go, obviously.
Yeah.
But they're literally taking money and run. What are they doing for you? Surely there's someone...
What are you getting out of it? If you're not coming first, second, or third, what are you getting?
Precisely.
Experience, I guess, keeping the grassroots alive. That's about it at the moment.
Yeah, but you can't be
If
the
I'm in the
same cow.
grassroots, I'm not playing just to keep grassroots alive. I'd want to be getting better.
I got asked to be in a CGA team this afternoon.
That's the most difficult league.
Yeah, I said, look, I'm not up to the task.
Do you know what I find funny, right? Talk about an indication of how much respect players currently have for the current ecosystem. They refer to their level as CG level still.
Yeah.
Even though it's
I'm still
LPL.
they're like, oh, we're CGI, CGL, whatever. It's a different TO.
Yeah.
Now it's LPL.
Yeah.
They refuse to acknowledge their presence. Is that tell me that is not a disconnect between the current player base and the
CG
TO?
had some fantastic branding. They were notorious throughout the whole nation, pretty much.
It'll take years to come through because even still, there's people coming into the scene starting to play CGA and they're still calling it CGA. I don't know what it's called. It's not whatever the fucking names are that LPL chose to call the leagues. They're not memorable. They're not.
They're
fucking
relevant.
Memorable.
Doesn't even matter if they're memorable. They're irrelevant, right? Like, what does evolution mean? Where is that in the ladder?
Because you're growing.
Oh, evolving. What are we, Pokemon?
Yeah, we're gamers, right?
But the thing is, right? Used to be an invite level team. We got invited to this league.
Exactly.
We're
Yeah.
a pro team. Well, we're the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
we're a main team. So like we're in the main league.
I think the top's still called Pro. I think it's LPL Pro, which is the
creme de
top
la
one.
creme. Sure,
Ironically,
But still, even calling it Pro, like some of the there's some good teams in there, but there's not the best teams in there,
yeah,
and it's not what it used to be.
no. So maybe not an
Not
indication.
as good as it used to be. Like when I used to win it all the time.
All the time.
I don't know about that one.
Go on, mate.
Just I just mess with Joe.
Man, you're a bit of a pretender. Which is taking me to my next topic.
Oh,
the pretenders.
Glad
all right?
I could help.
I know. You were just great for segues, Ian. You were popping off with the segues last week.
Yeah.
This week you slowed down a little bit.
Oh,
You're letting me take the reins back.
Yeah, it's quite warm in here. You know, I'm just starting to feel a bit sweaty and
Yeah. Well, the last one before we get on to
fatigued.
Max.
Looking
Beautiful
pale.
mailbag.
Looking very pale.
This is just a point. I don't know how long this discussion topic is going to go, but we are seeing now more than ever mainstream media starting to turn to different avenues for content. We said we're looking at esports. We said looking at these things. Tell you what, there is a wealth of esports experts, self-proclaimed,
Oh yeah.
that are just sitting there. They've been biding their time, and they're ready now to inform you on what the best practice is for esports.
Mm-hmm.
So all the pretenders are probably going to get a shot at this. So this is a little bit worrying for me.
What do we do, Jim?
What can we do, Ian?
What can we
What can we do?
The same thing we do every night.
Try and warn them. But essentially, a lot of people are going to be consulted on what the best strategy is for their, for esports or their entry into esports, because viewership is up in a lot of these things. Even just the game services themselves are experiencing overloads because of traffic.
Yeah.
And a lot of people turning to gaming in times where they're having to distance themselves socially. So,
Speaking of COD, great game.
Great game?
Just putting it out there right now. Warzone, great game. Anyway,
I haven't
continue.
played it.
It's a
I only
war
sensed
zone out
it.
here.
Yeah.
Continue.
There's a war zone
That's a
right
Warzone.
now. But essentially, I'm going to go to say to all the pretenders, smile, because you're all on camera. Like for the next couple months, you're all on camera. So whether or not you're going to put your name to the work, remain to be seen. But
This is such a Sean Diss segment. I like it.
I know someone's got to step up. But smile, you're all on camera. We're going to see the body of your work. We're going to see your expertise in esports and how it leads us either down a great path because you're excellent at what you do, or you've been bullshitting the entire time, and essentially now your esports knowledge or lack thereof is going to be called upon, and it's not going to stand up. That's it. So I'm also looking at, I've seen some brilliant events broadcast online. I've seen some absolute shockers.
Yeah.
As well.
Oh, geez. I've seen my fair few shockers.
I've seen my fair few shockers.
It's hard to keep your mouth shut when you see them too.
Smile, because you're online, because you don't have that B-roll footage. You don't have any of that glitz, that glamour, the look from your event, the live event, that you can just throw over.
Yeah, there's
music.
only one piece of evidence for your show now, and that's your actual show.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. You're going to be judged on your merits right now, so you can't polish your turd with post-produced content to make it look brilliant.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be judged on your merits. You're either going to stand up or you're going to sit down.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
It's deep.
It is. I wish I had a...
I mean,
That'll do.
That would have been good before. But yeah, that's deep. What do you think, Mac?
Look, I think that EPL's looking good. Saw a bit of Skybox being utilised finally, which I've been waiting for a long time. So good to see that the standard, you could tell that they were ready to bring it for EPL if the land was there.
Mm-hmm.
They were just going to try to take the production and all of the segments to the next level.
I thought you said LPL. I was like, what the fuck?
No, EPL.
No, EPL, sorry.
Okay.
I might have said LPL. I slow my words a lot. I don't know if you know me really, but sometimes
We're
racist. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I only tuned in for a little bit last night, and everything I saw, I was like, this is really good.
Is that the TriCast?
There might have been.
There's two TriCast teams.
Okay.
On
Cool.
EPL. It's pretty cool. They're trying different things.
Yeah, just to try to keep it fresh because they have to do something. It's online. They were probably sitting in the studio. We've said many times, we're like, we could do a TriCast. The problem is, there's always budget that you need to pay people more if you're going to have 3 people there. But if you have these people invested anyway and you're saving money by not having to run the LAN, then look, there's a bit of extra money to pay some more people. And if they're in studio anyway, because they were planning on having that many people here on the analyst desk, and it might not be as draining because it is just online, there's less of it having to be like, and there's less issues as well. That's the thing with online broadcasters. Like, every time there's a LAN, there's always some kind of technical difficulty. Always happens, always seems to happen. Online hasn't been the issue yet. Still waiting to see what happens with the Tyloo games, because there always seems to be a little bit of VPN things going on around there.
Oh, of course. So, is there any sort of word of any changes at our local ESL for the production? Is there going to be some new ideas?
Well, it only got canned yesterday.
Yeah.
Or today?
Yeah.
Today.
But further to my point is, right, you're in a good position with ESL because they have the basics down.
Yeah.
So they're looking to innovate, whereas all these other shitters are looking to do the basics.
Yeah.
And get those right.
But they also think they can do the basics.
Well, they're already talking about how they've done the basics, right? Bloating.
Yeah.
Like, congratulations, you ran a broadcast of 4G.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Beautiful.
It's been done 5 years ago.
Yeah.
When
there was an NBN that could do it.
Precisely, but when you've got an event that I'd previously just been involved in, where you've got some network engineers who spliced together 4 4G connections with redundancies, that's when you give them a pat on the back, because that is sick. That's people.
It's not even a weird
and that's
flex.
if you even know what the fuck you just said.
That's just a straight up flex.
Yeah.
Well, that's when you get 4 internet connections, and that's 4, and you just go, zzz, and then that's redundancy, and then that would be just no redundancy, but it would be like 4 together, just one big fat pipe, like, but that would be redundancy.
Oh.
And so that's what they did.
I heard MJ saying something about that on Twitter. How people were whinging about not going with the upgraded package or something, and then they'd go for the cheaper option, but then when something falls through, there's no redundancy.
Everyone does that.
Yeah, people cut corners because it's the same as, I think a good example would be, say if like a wedding videographer, right, gave you 2 packages and it was like, oh cool, look, this one's $2,000 cheaper and you won't be able to have a second shooter, you'll only get like this and this. They might go for it. But if something fucks up and there's only a single shooter, right, and the camera dies and you miss the fucking moment, you miss the kiss, you miss the...
Well, you're missing the wedding these days.
Yeah. There will be no weddings. Unfortunate for everyone. But...
Hey, we know some guys that are willing to stream some stuff, right?
Yeah, we can produce a wedding.
Actually, real talk, I've got some equipment. I've got 2 sets of broadcast pieces of hardware that can do some streaming. If anyone has an event that needs to be streamed.
And if anyone's looking for a groom.
We got a groom.
We got a groom too. There you go. So we've got a big old groom here. But the thing is, if you do have 2 people shooting, someone's camera fucks up, you have that second camera that's there, and the likelihood of 2 cameras fucking up exactly at the same time.
Bring a second camera if it's your profession. Like, seriously. Fuck those guys.
Do you know how much money cameras cost?
Yes.
Okay. Well, anyway.
You're doing weddings, just charge exuberant fees.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Fuck, you got all the answers, don't you? Anyway, point is, even if you have 2 cameras, one fucks up, say the battery dies.
Yeah.
Look, you shouldn't be in a situation where the battery's going to die.
Or your
as
memory
the kiss
card
happens.
corrupts.
Or the memory, something corrupts, something fucks up. Like, that's the thing as well. Like, if you have one person, one memory card, or like you can probably have dual memory cards recording to both if you have that kind of setup with your equipment. However, if that's a situation where you lose all of the footage from the wedding, there's no backup, there's no redundancy, and they're not going to have to pay, obviously, if that's the situation, unless you're some kind of fuckwit and you're like, oh, yeah, but look, you used my time. But there's no way, there's no world where you're going to force someone to pay if you don't deliver your service.
That's correct.
But the thing is, if you have the rest of it, and for some reason you've missed that one moment, and they're like, oh, why'd you miss that? And it's like, oh, well, I told you that there could be hiccups. You got to either talk your way out of it and say, that's why there was the option of the second one. So sometimes it's better to just not give them a basic option and make the redundancy look better by just telling them about the redundancy one and go, oh, cool, you should go with this. And then if they ask about pricing, it's like, well, this is the recommended one. There's too many variables that could go into place with the other
say
one.
You need this one. Just say, you need the bigger package. You know, because that's what it comes down to.
This is what you need.
And then don't let them pick out line items.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, none of
This is
that.
it.
Anyway, that was a nice little tangent.
That's good.
I like it. But basically, if you're a pretender, smile. You're being judged on your merits. You're on camera. If you're already operating in this space, you're doing cool shit, you're innovating, we already know who you are.
Yeah.
And
get your bases covered.
You guys are going to be the ones that are going to be leading the charge because, for a long time, esports as an industry has been seen as like broadcast innovators.
Yep.
And those sorts of creative minds and skill sets are going to be called on again in the future. So that's kind of cool. Now,
before we move on,
yes,
how you feeling about Rio?
Honestly, I'm feeling like the majors right now.
I'm not going. Straight up.
Well, you're not going to play. You're not going
I feel like the majors may not be
ruled out playing.
May not be a goer.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like obviously
It
Rio.
depends on how quickly this recovery comes.
It's not gonna because remember we're just flattening the curve. So it's going to be there for a long time. We're just going to get less infected straight away.
You can go to Rio, but don't be surprised if you're not allowed back.
Yeah, I guess that's a thing
That's
too.
the other thing, right? Like,
I'm not going to want to come back.
Yeah. Well, it depends on, like, obviously there's going to be a stadium event component to it. I don't know what Brazil's stance is at the moment on those sorts of things. A lot of the world is emptying out stadiums.
I haven't seen much from Brazil on the chart of infected people. But anyway.
In fact, the only thing I saw the other day from Brazil was the fact that there was like nearly 1,200 inmates that escaped from a prison that went into lockdown. That was it.
Right.
That was literally all I saw.
1,200 prisoners escaped.
1,200 prisoners were released or escaped or something like that.
Jesus.
Iran released prisoners.
That was,
Like thousands of prisoners.
That was also like a coping measure, yeah. So I don't know about Brazil's though. All I saw on Brazil was 1,200 inmates escaped.
Probably in jail for showing an ankle or something.
Who knows? But the point is, I don't know how the major's going to go.
Or if it's going to go.
Or if it's going to go. And
crystal ball would come in handy right now.
Oh man, I wish I had a crystal ball.
See if Swole Patrol gets on the gets the free upgrade again.
Or E-United.
Or E-United.
Whoever buys them.
Yep.
But yeah, actually, let's buy a crystal ball.
I think we should.
That's going to help.
Yeah. Give us a bit of insight.
We need some of those other people. Like we need those Ouija boards and stuff as well. What's the other stuff?
Don't you get cursed if you move those?
Carrot readings, with carrots. It's tarots.
I have some carrots in there.
That's right. I heard something the other day, like all this bad juju was because of Mercury being in retrograde.
I
was like, I've never heard of it.
I thought that just made you horny.
I don't know. You tell me, mate.
Different strokes for different folks, I guess.
You're putting the horror back into horoscopes, mate. But the thing, I'd never heard of Mercury being a flavour of Gatorade. That was the other thing.
What?
It's playing words. Gatorade, retrograde.
Retrospect. If you probably needed more explaining.
Yeah, if you got dyslexia, that's probably how you see Gatorade.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a great time to pivot into
Max Mailbag?
A segment called Max Mailbag.
To most with Max Mailbag.
Mine was better.
All right, Mac. It's time for that mailbag. What do you got for us this week? Ooh.
A whole lot.
I saw my Twitter was popping, mate.
I got a whole lot. So that's although some of the questions have ended up being on bloody
one thread.
So I'll retweeted it with a comment and that sent some that way. But actually, it's not too many. So I will start with that so we don't get too lost, and that's going to be at Fan Potter asking, "Do I and Jessica Park have enough toilet paper?"
What?
I think we're all right at the moment.
What?
That was the question. Have you got toilet paper? How are you guys going for toilet paper?
I'm not willing to disclose that information.
What people don't want to? You don't want to be known as one of the hoarders.
What are you saying, mate? You've gone from frags to riches. Is that what you're saying? You've got stockpiles.
I don't want anyone to be coming into my house to take my TP.
We're talking about security.
Oh, well. So I guess some of these questions won't be answered tonight.
Honestly, in the coming weeks, we're going to require...
Yeah.
Let's just say that we're going to require some TP in probably the next week and a half, based on current estimates of usage per day.
Yeah.
I was watching that thing on Netflix, 100 people, and the average was pretty high. People were using 7 pieces of toilet paper to wipe.
Per wipe?
Per wipe.
That's a fucking lot.
Yeah.
Fucking scrunches. Get out of here.
They're not. They're some were folders.
With
Some,
7?
yeah.
How many folders?
How many wipes do they go with that?
Oh, I don't know.
We're crossing lines here,
Just
but
watch that show and you'll see. There's a toilet episode. That's pretty eye-opening.
7 squares, folders.
Back to fronts.
Front to backs?
Anyway, all right, that's
to front.
that's a conversation for another time. We're going to move
I
on.
suppose when you reverse Kanga, it's like...
Yeah. Oh, it's hardly back.
Moral of the story, everyone, just be a bit more sparing with your toilet paper because you got to make that shit last. Anyway.
Hey, I see what you did there.
You got to have shit to use the toilet paper anyway.
Down. Wow.
Well, okay, so Jessic Park has asked, give us some examples of how to reallocate resources from live events back into online to make the scene thrive during the darkest timeline.
Like that.
Like what?
Pick it up. Bang into online.
Yeah.
So
well,
just
people have
replicate
got,
it.
Yeah, unfortunately, in terms of like, event staff, some can do their roles online, some can't.
You can still go to the studio.
Can you?
Yeah. What? ESL studio? You go to the studio still?
Yeah, this the production team for ANZ.
It'd be like 4 people.
Um,
Replays.
4 in production,
Observer. Director.
4 in production and admin, and
Admin.
2 casters, and you're good to do a decent production.
Yeah.
But I dare say it's going to be a couple more if you have.
Yeah.
Land
Just for
events
your
plus-
general online though.
Yeah,
And they're there anyway. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Online's not new.
No.
We're already doing it.
I'd like to see maybe some different segments at play.
Me too. I mean, I'm
Move away from the
but-
casting desk, throw it to like a
Yeah,
couch
the
or
thing
something
is,
like
Jim,
that.
Yeah,
Stuff
yeah.
that you've been talking about, Matt.
those ideas. People should be paying for those ideas.
Yeah.
And people who are in those positions should be trying to innovate, but they're not, and that's pretty sad.
Yeah. Well, it's now like budgets for
Days.
events have been somewhat scaled up because they're not having to pay for certain things anymore.
yeah.
So you've got time to try these different things, innovate. I mean, examples of how to. It depends on the broadcast, to be honest.
Like we
Yeah.
said last time, anyway. Like the problem for me. Remember, we had some ideas about how to make things better.
Yeah.
I realized the problem for me is now it's not because I'm not a pro player anymore. I'm not invested in knowing every little detail about every team in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I watch them play, I'm just like, I don't really give a shit about this game anymore. Like, I don't care about this team. What's there to care about? I don't know about them. But there's a rich history in every team. Every team is made up of people who have been playing for a long time and had their experiences and whatnot. You could watch a Dig game now, a Dignitas game, and just be like, I don't give a shit about these people. Who are these people? You don't know they're part of like the Nip Magic or anything like that back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's for me. That's what's really, really lacking. It's like there's no
Storytelling?
Storytelling, character building.
If all you watch is the broadcast, you have no idea about anyone. They're just a name on the screen that shoots stuff.
Yeah. It's a good time for experimentation.
I reckon you got all the time in the world.
Yep, that's it. All right. And then there was a follow-up question, which was also chicken twisters or original?
Twisties?
Twisters. Twisties?
Twisties.
I feel like it was supposed to be twisties.
Feels like she's been auto-correct.
Yeah.
So-
Absolutely wrecked on that one.
Chicken. Sorry.
I like chicken, but I feel like original. Like I just don't get to have twisties too often because I just don't eat them much nowadays. But I'd probably go with cheese. More memorable.
There was another flavour.
Pizza.
No, it's not. It was burger. It was like hamburger.
Yeah, cheeseburger. I think it was.
Cheeseburger, hamburger.
Maybe
Yeah.
there's multiple now.
Maybe there's another one. I don't know
Flamin'
what-
hot Cheetos. That's
Oh yeah, they're sick. But I don't know why they're dreaded. Like if it's a dreaded pizza. Like what's the dread about pizza?
I don't know. Maybe Leash just can't stop eating them. That's her fault, not ours.
Big fan.
What is this one? Okay, no, that was just like the follow-up to that question, which we covered anyway. Cool. So at Fish has asked, will we see upsets in the ESL and ZCS finals with it being online?
I'd say yes, we're more likely to. Whether we will, obviously that crystal ball's on order from Amazon.
Are Renegades in that? Yeah, of course they are.
No,
No, they're not.
they're
so
not. And they
order
changed their plans too late, so they couldn't play the open qualifier to get in.
Okay.
And
I'll just-
obviously ESL wasn't going to bend the rules to
I would
try to
whatever.
get in.
That's me though.
You
Yeah.
want a premier team? You want no. I think
It's
we
going to be an
will.
Order Avant grand final anyway.
Because I have been impressed with some of the bubble teams, like your Skyfires and like your Paradoxes.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we're going to have some crazy stuff.
Obviously, Paradox.
Skyfire got fucked on the other day by Rooster, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's online,
Rooster, though,
right?
as well.
Like,
Yeah.
both those two teams have
Maybe
the ability
Rooster
to...
even could make it.
Yeah.
Chance. Paradox were looking good, but then they just kicked their RGL yesterday, so
Who's their RGL?
it was Lukey,
Someone pick up Lukey.
and now it's going to be Badonka.
Oh,
So
Someone pick up Lukey.
He was one of their better fraggers too, though.
yeah, that's what I thought, but
So it's like,
internal shit.
I think this has happened before with Paradox, TBH.
Yeah.
bit of a paradox.
They have a history of this.
Either way, I think those bubble teams have the ability to upset. Why? Because you're not playing on stage. You don't have the bright lights. Those
Yeah.
guys don't have the experience when they go to land
Yep.
that some other teams do.
It's a good opportunity
literally-
for Chiefs.
Yeah, like I know you're basically in a land environment, you're factoring out a lot of things. And you're factoring in a whole heap of new things like
Yep.
the environment, the space, the pressure, and all that.
Playing with white noise, playing with innies, which you're probably not used to.
Correct.
Heaps of different things.
No,
that are
different
just gonna
desk
throw
heights,
you off.
maybe.
Yeah.
Harmonicas. Fucking
You're at home,
sniper yelling
and
shit
now you
out.
can chill at home, and the only thing illuminating your face is your screen and your modem lights.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, it's I think it's an introduction. Maybe like remember that season back in the day of CGPL where a Trident team won and they beat.
Don't remind me of that.
Yeah, but it was played online. It wasn't played on LAN. It was the second season of CGPL and CS:GO,
Yep.
Everyone knows that there was some
and it was played online,
Some
not
foul-
on LAN
foul-
like
foul
CGPLs were.
Who was in the Trident team?
there was no Rooster involved, but there was some foul play.
Mm,
Right.
indeed.
Who was in that team?
There was payback later on.
There was payback later on. Yeah.
I think it was like Ustillo, Payback, Dev K. Oh, Peasy Kid.
PZ Kid.
Yeah, he absolutely. To be fair, Ustillo went huge too, though.
Yeah.
That
That was like the first
and Tonks.
the first opening of
Tonks.
Yep.
Yeah,
Ah.
that was, and it was. Was it Trident or was it Avant?
They were called Avant.
Yeah. Well, either way, it was an online season, and a huge upset happened in the grand final. So
Yeah.
I think, given that the likelihood of teams of differing experience levels are going to go into the finals, I think there's big potential for upsets.
Big. Huge.
Big. So watch it. Find out, I guess.
Massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, yes, I think that we will see some upsets. I don't know who it's going to be because we don't know the second two teams for the finals yet. But this what is it? Stage 2 of the bracket is looking pretty good.
Easy prediction though. What do you reckon? Order versus Chiefs?
Avant, yeah, I reckon it's going to be Order versus Avant, and Avant.
That's an easy one. There's no upset there.
Yeah, there's no upset. But if on paper, it's Order versus Avant in the finals, and look, if Avant keep playing like they were the other day, Avant's going to take the season.
Okay.
They've been getting better. You know,
Yep.
they've been pushing through after
As
that
you
roster
do.
shuffle, and
Yep.
they're looking really good at the moment. Order, they're obviously getting used to a couple of changes as well, but it seems like that Avant are just looking way more structured.
Okay.
So-
Order better be on guard.
Yeah. We'll see if they can get it done. Okay, so Tag has asked, which players are winners versus losers with all online going forward, especially with pending finals or 4 pending finals?
I think the newer players
Yep.
are the
Winners.
winners.
Yeah.
Because
I guess we just covered that one.
Not even newer players, but just like the guys that have been around forever and never went to land. They're the winners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell you, you got Hazard, you got Llamas. They're certainly going to be playing a lot better from home if they make finals.
I actually think Hazard's
Hazard was pretty good in the last couple of lands he's played at.
he's
though.
overcome his land stutters.
Jitters. Land jitters.
Land jitters.
Same thing.
Nah, blah, blah.
But
But
now, like, he's a force to be reckoned
Both
with.
of them
He
at
puts
once.
numbers up, right? Like
Yep.
he's
stuttering you jitters.
Day Junior, but
I'll just have my own conversation. That's fine.
it's cool. We'll just start a side podcast to
Yeah.
spin off.
I want someone to go and like clip every little side remark that Ian says under his voice. Yeah, you're out his fucking dick. And then just like make a compilation of
You'll
it.
never get me.
Wait until we start recording like separate audio tracks each,
Yeah.
Ooh,
and then we can do it.
beautiful. All right,
Literally
well,
cut everyone else out. Just have Ian's monologue.
It would be a good shot.
so essentially with the winners and losers, I think I feel like every player's a loser not being able to go to LAN because
Fuck, that's harsh, my guy.
not being able to go to LAN because I don't get to see him. We don't get to have a good time at LAN, which is always the main thing I'm looking forward to at the end of the season, is just hanging with the players for a little bit, saying, "Oh, what's been going on?" Have a bit of a chat, catch up. Maybe a beer or so. But
Hot dog.
The compulsory
couple of hot
come after
dogs.
party.
Yeah.
not going to happen this time.
I think the real losers here are
Sad timeline, man.
other teams that don't get to play Renegades.
Yeah, that's a missed opportunity, but.
I used to relish playing big teams on LAN.
Yeah. Oh,
It's like-
playing big teams in general.
Just big teams on LAN though. It was like a more special.
Yeah, but you
occasion.
beat a big team, you put your name in lights every time. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter the environment, you're still there, still on the HLTV record,
Yeah.
Exactly.
And this is the other thing that's in question too, while it's on my mind, is it's DreamHack Open, DreamHack Open, that is
Oakland?
part of the
Freudian slip.
that is part of
It
the
got canned.
reward, right?
Yeah.
So what if it gets canned?
Summer
Whichever one
got
it is.
canned. DreamHack Summer got canned.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So-
a big one, man. That's like their flagship event, right? That's the one.
Well, I still think winter is
Winter?
better. Yeah.
Well, it's summer and winter. Like they were the two big.
You're
big events,
shipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jönköping.
Yeah.
So that's on the cards that could be cancelled as well.
Oh well,
Which
we
I guess we'll see once we get there. Anyway, let's move on. We got Emma. It's Emma Tricks on Twitter. Mixed leagues thoughts. How can we move forward and make this happen?
force it.
And I feel like that'd be like, so initially I looked at it and I was like, all leagues are mixed. Like all the, male ones, male dominated leagues are technically mixed. But then I was thinking like the netball, like when you go play mixed netball, it's like max 2 men on the field, and then they swap it per week. It's like only one male can be in each section of like the netball court, etc.
Would that feel too forced in esports?
No one's going to make a
It never works when it feels forced. That's the reason why I don't like Overwatch where it is at the moment, when they're like, you can't play these players, but you can play these players.
Oh, they force their compositions. Though.
Yeah.
Like, it's different.
Yeah, well, it's, you could force at max like 3 males per team, and you got to have 2 females in the team.
Yeah.
I reckon there's room for a social league that could be 3 women, 2 guys to a team or something like that.
See, that'd be something. Those ODCs that would run on CG, where it'd be like the big one on
just like a
Wednesday.
social ODC.
So have it like that, and have it on Wednesdays. Cool. All right, every Wednesday we're gonna have a fucking
We've got a
tournament.
social
Here
club.
we are again with our fucking ideas, giving them away for free.
Sorry, well,
No, these ones are
Emma
free.
started it. So
These are free. Keep going.
These are
Give us
free.
the free ones, mate.
The free
Social Wednesday League. Is that what we're
Social
going with?
Wednesday League, you put $200 on the line, and then heaps of people play. You can, go with your max 3 blokes on the team, and then you like have 2 women on the team, or you can have 3 women, whatever.
Yeah.
Put them all together, and then you just play from 6 p.m. till midnight, and someone wins $200 at the end.
Devil's advocate. What about how do you enforce 2 ladies on the team? Say that people never,
Well, that's like
the thing with
the
women's
chick
leagues,
that
right?
came through who was like the really good Overwatch player. Yet another Overwatch scenario. She'd sit there on the headset, do all the comms, but her boyfriend, who was one of like the top 500 Overwatch players, it was just like a social experiment, is what they called it, and he just like used his Smurf, but got her to like be on comms the whole way to top 500, and everyone was real sus about it.
Yeah.
But it turned out because everyone was like, no, there's no way, like that's a chick playing, and it started this whole drama about sexism and shit.
Yeah.
But then it turned out it like wasn't actually a chick playing. So
Yeah, don't be jerks, basically.
Yeah.
Well, you could do like
There's a few. There was a mini.
well, I mean,
drama like
we
that.
always have like our Steam IDs and stuff anyway. So you'd have a team of 6, maybe 3 women, 3 guys, and then you'd be depending on what rosters could be felt on the day.
Yeah.
Like
To be honest, I actually think some esports are better positioned to do that than others. Whereas, like for example, CS, very established ecosystem. It's difficult to sort of create that and not have it feel forced. Whereas, for example, you set a precedent in
Rainbow Six.
Let's just say it's not even Rainbow Six.
Yep.
I know there's currently a women's league in Rainbow Six. There's obviously I'm hearing some murmurs of some toxicity and some issues, but like to be honest, like take that with a grain of salt, right? It happens all the time. Every league has its issues and toxicity.
yeah.
But newer esports are probably better positioned to create an ecosystem where that's sort of the norm, not necessarily a special thing. Whereas it always
You
feels
make it then. Everything's got to be special to start with, It's not going to be the norm out of the gates. So.
Look,
Honestly, you just need someone to go ahead and do it. If you want to do it, do it. And if you want to have an ODC with mixed league, like you've got to enforce the gender specifics there.
Yeah. Well, like as I said,
And then good luck identifying it and validating it.
yeah,
Because, I mean, you did at WPGL and it was like the first season you had webcams on to make sure that they were actually there playing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
webcams or like phone recordings of them
As soon as
playing.
you ditch that, it's like you get IEM qualifier scandals, like all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, well, you had your webcam recordings, and it's like, cool, that's property of you guys.
Yeah.
And that's, you keep. We will never ask for it unless it's,
Contentious.
brought into dispute.
Yeah.
And even then, it's only league officials that are going to ask for it.
Yeah.
And that's it. And if you don't present it, well, then that's automatically an infraction or an issue.
It's the
and
same
things
as
like that.
with like the anti-cheat that like CG used to use.
Yeah.
Or like if you didn't record your demo, like you forgot to record your demo, someone's like, "Oh, that was pretty fucking sus what he did. Or can you have a look at that?" And then if the admin goes, "Hey, can you send me your demo from that game?" Don't have your demo. Go, "Oh, sorry, I didn't forgot to record it." Then it's like, well,
Scores overwritten.
Yeah.
overwritten.
Yeah.
You got to follow the rules.
Unfortunately, in those instances, it's a few that ruin it for the majority.
Yeah.
Because, I believe that when we ran WPGI as a women's league, we didn't have any instances of that. We didn't have anyone turn out on different accounts.
Yeah.
No.
And we were able to come to that due to the fact that we had all this in place. So it was literally on the request of the other team.
Yeah.
That person
Yeah,
would be
of course.
checked, and we'd run that through. And if it was a yes or a no, in all honesty, we never actually had any accusations either,
Yeah.
because it was peace of mind for
'Cause
the
everyone
other
was
players.
doing it.
Everyone was doing it, and if they weren't doing it, well, then they'd get penalised.
Yeah.
But there was nothing called into contention, so it's sort of like, were we lucky because we didn't have to
Then
enforce
I
it?
remember the jerks that used to request demos on us every time we'd win.
Oh, yeah. That happens still to this day. Like,
Yeah?
So often. It's just the main way that like you make your way through CGA is just like, oh, this dude's probably
Forfeits,
cheating.
forfeits.
Boo. And they're just like beta forfeit. Oh, I made finals now. Even going through finals, beta forfeit. Just like how long does it have to happen? Anyway, let's move forward. But that was a good little discussion.
I think there's a place for mixed leagues. There's a place for female leagues. I think every female player that plays in the female only league realizes that these are just the early days, and this is sort of like
It's on them, though.
it's on them.
It's not going to
correct?
grow it itself.
Correct.
They got to get out there.
I think there will always be a place for female leagues.
Yeah.
But there, for a majority of players, and there's a lot of players that do hold this mentality, is that they're a stepping stone.
Yeah.
And that launches them into something else. Maybe they're maybe more comfortable in a competitive environment now. They've got their footing.
Yeah.
They launch themselves into a mixed team.
Yep.
So I think there's an ecosystem where that can work both ways, but it's maybe better suited towards a newer esports ecosystem than those that are already existing.
Yeah.
So,
Well, all right, cool. All right, thanks, Emma. And okay, cool. No, I was just checking that there wasn't anything else in that thread. At Dograt19, with this COVID-19 situation sending big events to online, is there a chance we could see some big sides accept an invite to MEO due to it, in brackets, maybe being one of the first few LAN tournaments?
I think
Fucked if I know. That's a whole long way away.
real talk, I think if they're serious about winning a big, because ESL announced their tour plans, right? Like,
Yep.
it's a major event on their tour plans.
Yep.
It counts towards Intel Grand Slam.
Yep.
If that's not incentive enough, there's also the prize pool.
Yep.
So I think the big teams that are going to accept the invites are not going to do so based on the fact that it might be the first or only LAN event. They've probably already done so.
Yeah. It'll just be Astralis who said they'd never come again.
Yeah. But even then,
They'll be coming.
They'll probably be coming.
They'll
Who
be
knows?
coming this time.
Even then,
If they can. Well,
That's-
hopefully they can.
They only didn't come last time because of bloody Blast commitments.
Yeah, right.
That's what I reckon anyway. But they did say they were very jet lagged the first time.
Well,
so did a lot of
yeah.
people.
Look,
Nah.
in all honesty, I don't think there's any certainty that MEO is even
They
a
didn't win.
possibility. Or IEM, MEO,
Yeah.
IEMEO.
Yeah.
Mingo was his name, eh?
You just pretty much have to sit back, hope, and pray that
Yeah, do
It
your part
is
now.
gonna happen.
Like, this is where people do their part now.
yeah,
And as has been said, you got to do the basics. You got to try and flatten that curve. Hopefully, that that's the case. But there's no certainty that's going ahead. Fingers crossed.
yeah.
But we're waiting.
So to answer the question directly, is there a chance we could see some big sides accept an invite to MEO?
Absolutely.
Like, yes, they're going to anyway. There was only a couple of teams that didn't come last year.
Just Australis, as far as I know.
Yeah.
But the problem with last year was everyone that came was shit. Because it was just in this weird phase where everyone was changing their lineup except Team Liquid.
Yeah. Liquid was
It's
super
like
dominant.
MIBR was trash, Fnatic was trash.
Well, Fnatic, I feel like that was when they started to play a bit
NRP was like-
better.
NOP were like this throughout the tournament.
Yeah.
Mm.
I put money on not
The best game was NOP Fnatic.
not actual
Yeah.
money, but I did have a lot of faith in Exist and everything coming through and winning it again, but Team Liquid
That
just-
was like that was the rise of Liquid. That was one of the first tourneys they won before they made their little run to the.
I don't know if it was the first one, maybe the second one, but it was definitely.
It was in
early.
that
That's what I
early
mean.
stage.
One
It was
one of the
very,
first.
very early.
It was on their way to the Grand Slam,
Yeah.
which they went and took. So yeah, that's it.
It's crazy. They won the
questions.
Grand Slam and then just fell off. completely.
Right. So that's it with the questions.
That is. I'll just double check.
Is that all there is, guys?
Yeah. Oh, community. Ooh, you're letting it down, but at least it filled out some time.
Oh, there
And
was a second part to just 6. So keep people employed, use funds that would be spent on land elsewhere. You got that warehouse. What you going to do with it? Working from home. How you going to make yourself productive? Do you want to tackle that one? How do you make yourself productive working from home? In all honesty, we've said it before that there's a huge need for content right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So what contributions you can make?
Are you
Content?
a videographer?
It doesn't have to be video. It doesn't have to be anything. In all honesty, though,
easy.
Look, more YouTube content's coming.
Cinematographer. I
Anyone-
was expecting to be with the
Oh,
report.
yeah. Look, I'm just
Anyone
fucking
that
accepting it at this
has-
point.
anyone that has a side project or an idea or a side hustle, whatever it is,
Now is
and
the
you've
time.
shelved it,
All eyes are upon
do
you.
it.
The eyes of the world are upon you. That was my Arnie impersonation.
My
the
side
hell-
project was myself for the last couple of months, and that's just been put on hold.
You
Well,
can still
there's-
do your own home workouts.
There's certain things you can do.
Do
There's
you,
certain
reckon,
things
you reckon
can't
you're a
do.
side project? I reckon you're part of the meal,
Ooh,
not just a side.
call me a snack.
No. I said you're the meal.
Oh,
The main course.
ooh. Stop it.
You're not just garnish anymore.
Get me going. Jess doesn't say anything like that to me usually.
That's
Anyway,
right, mate. We'll look after you here.
well, that's it.
Anyway, make some
bag-
content. Make
bag
some
shot.
content. Make some frag movies.
Yeah,
make some
actually,
analysis videos.
That's a good point. We will be giving away that
yeah.
blue
How are we gonna
Yeti
do that, Jim?
microphone. We're going to have a Gleam giveaway on that one, so it'll be
So you don't
a
even
few
have to
conditions
work
there.
hard for it.
No, you don't. Honestly, anywhere in Australia, we'll post it out to you guys.
Click some buttons.
So this is the perfect time to get on and make some content. So there you go. Hopefully we can help someone along that journey.
Yep. Oh, that's a good point. Good
Yeah.
segue. Nice. See what you did there. It's good. Yep. Nice.
It's good to see you keep the conversation flowing.
yeah, great segue.
Yeah.
Cool. Any closing thoughts, gentlemen?
Oh, hardly had a thought this whole time.
No? We're going to keep working from home during
Oh,
this.
yeah.
though.
You can tell I'm on the quarantine. So,
You got the quarantine beard.
yeah, I was like, oh, I'll shave before the podcast. And
We're now in 1080p, so we can...
Is that a beard?
it's just a neck beard. It's just disgusting.
Okay.
Yeah. Who else is going to emerge from quarantine
thought
like
no
a
one-
caveman?
Yeah, everyone just—it's the time of year to grow some beards. That's all
I
I'm
was
saying.
like,
It's true.
No
The
woman,
weather's cooling down a little bit.
no self-respecting woman is going to see me anyway because I'm obviously not leaving the house.
Yeah.
But he's on the market.
Oh no, maybe not.
He's
Oh.
active in the market.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
catching a virus.
is it called love?
What is it with you and love? Stop trying to get people in the shit, all right? Next.
Do me. Anyway, that will wrap the proceedings up for this week. I think it's safe to say everything in the meantime is cancelled, but we're not.
Except Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah. Speaking of that, who's ready for? Well, this is going out tomorrow. Let's say today. Who's ready for? Who's had a great day playing Animal Crossing today?
Tweet us your Animal Crossing pics.
Tweet me.
screenshots.
If you listen to this and you plan on playing Animal Crossing, please add me on or send me your Nintendo friend club ID, whatever it's bloody called, that you play Nintendo with people.
Yeah.
I've got online. I've been paying for it for 2 years. All I did with it was play a bit of Smash when Smash came out.
Yeah.
For about a month, and then forgot to cancel it. But have recently started playing a bit of Super Nintendo because you do get the free Nintendo and Super Nintendo games on there.
Oh, that's cool.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool. I've been searching Bargain for free games that I will not play, by the way.
Okay.
But there's a heap of things on at the moment. There's a heap of free content offers.
Yeah.
So check those out. Anyway, we're going to wrap things up. A special shout out to Picklebet, who have been supporting us since day one. You might have known them previously as Skrilla. We've worked with them, as we said, since day one. They've been enabling us to continue to bring content, to continue to improve bits and pieces along the way. And to them, we are certainly very thankful. They're Australia's first esports betting website, and there's a lot of esports online at the moment. So, there is certainly...
They've come to the right place.
There's certainly a lot to check out. So if you are going to check that out, do remember to gamble responsibly. We are the Esports Social Club. Mac looks like he's about to set sail. We're going to set sail as we listen to Mac drown.